So whenever we have a couple episodes that are like sports or like Assay High Valley, I always want to get back to the musician format after a couple. And
Yeah.
I got a hold of Doug to reach out to a singer-songwriter in our area, Corey Vance, to come in. And I told Doug, I'm like, hey, if Corey's coming in, why don't you come in too? A couple hours later, Corey's sick. And I was like, Doug, why don't you just come in? We still have a featured guest.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're here with the return of Doug.
Of course, I
Beat
wasn't
Boston.
a musician, but
Actually, I think now makes you officially the, other than Razor and I, the most person, the one person we've had on the podcast the most. So
And probably the least word spoken so
that's
far.
I get about 10 words in each time.
that's it. Well, you know, God love Tim. When Tim's here, nobody's talking.
No.
And Lou too.
Yeah, Lou. Yeah, Lou. Oh,
Tim's
Lou.
stories are great, though. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
good thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we'll have to start the 10 Strings Tavern after dark to tell some of the stories that Tim wants
Yeah.
to tell. That you have to sign up for the membership because we have to verify your age, and we're gonna have to do all that. But that's still to come yet. So
So thanks for coming in, Doug.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Right before you're heading out to, was it 50 years of hip hop?
50,
event?
yeah.
Yeah, Waterfront Hall.
yeah, we're gonna go
Waterfront
check that out.
We got the screen rolling above us. We're going to check out what's coming to Wheeling right now, all the lineup schedules. What's the next one to come to the Waterfront Hall?
Saturday. I'm gonna go check this one out. The wife and I have tickets for the Nailers
Okay.
on Saturday night, and then it's Company Caravan, and I think that's that Stone or the Grateful Dead
Okay.
cover band.
Okay.
So I think that's we're gonna have some check it out for dinner, go to the hockey game, and then come back and check that out in the evening. So
Saw there's a ELO tribute band playing at the Strand Theater coming up.
Oh, really?
Next month. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, at the Strand.
I gotta check that out.
I
I'm
saw,
a
Sean
big
Geary
ELO
playing on
fan, man. That's
Yeah. Did you know Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne managed them?
I didn't know that they managed them, but I know that Jeff Lynne had his hands in I don't know how many fantastic albums out of London. I mean, he was one of the best producers. And like I said, how do you get an ELO cover? That's such a unique sound.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
So
a lot of like keyboards and
Yeah,
all kinds of different
and
stuff.
strings,
Yeah.
and it'd be like trying
female back, like a whole
Yeah.
back line of vocals. Yeah.
It'd be like trying to do like a Chicago cover band with like a 7-piece horn section or Tower of Power or something. That's just wow. Okay.
Before we get into more music, there was a story that was all over social media last week. I wanted to ask you guys because you are two of the most diehard Ohio State fans I know. So, do you think Ryan Day needs out, or do you not hop on that hype train of firing a coach after?
Absolutely not.
You don't
Me
think so?
neither. No.
No.
No, I mean, and this is just my opinion, and you can take that and $4 and get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. No, I mean, yes, as an Ohio State fan, and I personally know people that have played for Ohio State. I know a guy, God love him, Ernie Andrea. He literally grew up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, played Ohio State, got 2 pairs of gold pants. The gold pants is the charm that you get when you beat that team from up north.
Okay.
So he's got 2 gold pants. He played for the Houston Oilers. And, you know, even growing up, that's the end all be all. You beat that team from up north. And, you know, it's,
Well, if you look at the ratings of that game compared to any other college,
I think the only one that would come close was the SEC championship with Alabama and Georgia. But no, I don't think, again, from somebody that has played football for years, I've coached it, I've officiated it. No, because of the fact that one, it was a 6-point loss on the road. And, you know, there was contributing factors to that loss. It wasn't how it was coached.
yeah.
You can tell when a coach is on his way out. And I will say this as a diehard Patriots fan, long before Tom Brady probably before Brady was even born, I was a Patriots fan. So they were terrible. And you're seeing that now. Like, they're really, I mean, yeah, we beat the Steelers, so That was great for me anyway. That, like I said, I don't care if we finish no more wins for the season. I still have bragging rights in the Ohio Valley about beating the Steelers.
Yeah, especially if most people want to rag on you around here.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
you have that.
Yeah, because everybody was like, "Oh, you're a bandwagon jumper." No, I've got the little helmet with the old logos signed by Steve Grogan, so that tells you that I've been a fan for
Yeah, and how do you fire a coach that's only lost 3 games and it's been Michigan?
right.
Yeah,
I mean, he's had a winning seasons every year.
Yeah, and like I said,
He loses to Michigan.
I mean, like I said, my opinion, it's not a question of how the team is coached, because that is not it at all. I mean, they hit on all cylinders. However, if you don't have the people on the field that can do the job, that's not a coach's fault. And it definitely, like I said, you don't know what happens like in the offseason. You don't know what happens in that locker room. You don't know what happens. And, it's easy for two big Ohio State fans here to Monday morning quarterback going, you can't tell me that McCord is the best that we have. That they're, I mean, there's, and maybe he is. I don't know. But, and like I said,
Well, he's transferred, isn't he?
yes.
yeah. That's crazy too. If like a kid just up and decides one night transfer.
Yeah, but
nuts.
here's the thing. And again, my own opinion, you can tell me that I'm way off base. I think the other thing with that transfer portal is the fact that now with that NIL and the kids can make money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a backup at Ohio State, you're probably going to be a number one person, probably almost 90% of any other school you go to.
Yeah.
So why would you not go to a
That's
school
true,
that you know that you're going to make more money?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I just think and this is again my opinion, and you tell me what you think. I think the Big Ten, like a big conference, was too fast for Kyle McCord. I don't think, and this is like I said, especially after like you watch them on television, and you only get to see, but when you go up and you see them live, and I saw them play and how I just think the game's too fast for him in a big major conference like that. I think he'll do better someplace else, and not that he didn't do. I mean, he only had one loss. However, we didn't blow teams out. We didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of mistakes that were made. So but going back to the root cause of what you asked, no, I don't think Ryan Day should get fired. He was not outcoached. That's definitely the factor.
And how do you actually really compare to winning 60-0 to losing by 6? It's like just because they beat them by 60 doesn't mean that they're that great of a team.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's the thing. Like I said, there's Alabama that's in because they beat Georgia. That's the only reason. And like I said, you have teams that like Florida State. Everybody's like, well, they should be in there undefeated. You're right. I mean, if that's what we're doing it on, it's not. Well, we think this. The committee, we think this will be a better game, and absolutely that team from up north absolutely wants to play Florida State instead of Alabama.
Yeah.
Because I think Alabama's going to, hand them their breakfast.
Oh yeah, yep.
But
well, my problem is you put their coach on a 3-game suspension, and damn well he's at home on his phone or wherever.
Well, I mean, he was able to coach all the way up until
and
Saturday morning.
And he's sitting there listening to the announcers tell everything that's going on, and he just tells his coach that's in the press box.
Yeah.
So suspension wasn't a good thing. That was just okay. Well, now you can win.
And what's funny is if you notice too, and but the whole Spygate thing that they were saying that it's funny how after the Ohio State Michigan game you haven't heard another word about it.
Yeah.
You haven't heard anything more about Connor Stallions. You haven't heard anything about anything else. So I don't know but I digress.
I haven't heard anything from JD. JD's a big Michigan fan. From
Oh,
Township Road.
is he?
Oh yeah. And me and him, I went walking in. We beat him 4 or 5 years ago. I went to the game. I come walking in with them big fingers, and he's up there singing. He looked at me and went,
Oh man,
and I'm just standing back there with my finger.
Yeah, from like watching JD, he would have a beer in his hand and not care what he said on that stage. He just call out anything he saw.
Yeah, yeah, talking about titties and everything else.
So yeah, that's our divergent off of the music scene. we could do another sports episode right now just on that damn game. But
so back to music. Have we made any progress of finding a location for a all genre music festival in this valley that we talked about earlier?
I mean, there's a bunch of them. just to get into those things.
Yeah.
Well, I think the good thing is I think that, and I'm myself excluded because I really don't know, between just you two sitting here, I think you guys know everybody between here, Pittsburgh, Charleston, and Columbus, that we could find some place.
Well, I mean, we think Civic Center, or whatever you want to call it, West Banco.
Yeah.
I know the people that work it, so I don't know if I could talk them into it or not.
Yeah.
You know, they're bringing in some really crazy acts in there.
Right.
Yeah, because what was it last weekend that Ice killed
Ice Nine Kills.
Ice Nine Kills?
From what I heard, that was almost sold out.
Really? Yeah,
What I
that's
heard.
Yeah, I mean, those pictures looked awesome.
Yeah.
The production of it all.
All that production was unreal.
yeah.
I didn't get to go, but I probably should have, just to see it.
Yeah. Sean Geary at the Alice Cooper, he came up after load-in before the show, and he was saying that the way they had it set up, underneath the stage, they had all their equipment underneath the stage in rows with about 4 or 5 feet in between them. So if like somebody was stage right and they needed something stage left, you could sprint while keeping your head down underneath that
If you
stage.
want to talk about that
wow.
concert, get a hold of Lou, because Lou went to it and got backstage.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he actually hung out with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, that's
Nice.
that's awesome. And that's the thing, like I said, I've never seen a big production like the load in and stuff from a backstage perspective, where now I would really enjoy seeing how, like you said, how that's set up.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. Like you see a fraction of it, like when we went to see Ed Sheeran at Acusure, you can kind of see how the way that stage was set up, how they had access and they could get point A to point B real quick. But I would love to see that. Like I said, the couple times in my life that I've been backstage, it's just, I've
Did you ever see
fangirled.
the ZZ Top tour back when they had the Eliminator tour?
No.
They did that like it was like a coal mine. They come out in the cart and went around, then they went up, and when they come back down, this tarp pulled off, and there was the Eliminator, the space
car.
shuttle.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was one of the craziest things I ever seen, because it was just a tarp, and it just pulled off of everything, and there was the space shuttle. And I was just like, how in the hell did he do that?
Right. I just like some of that. And then another one, like I said, still to this day, one of the best stage shows I've ever seen was Marilyn Manson. And it was before they
yeah.
did like all the CGI and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That stage literally morphed between songs. I mean, it was amazing.
I probably have 3. 9 Inch Nails was crazy. And then they did that thing when he put his face into those needles.
Oh yeah.
They rode this thing down out of the top of the thing, and this guy walked up behind it and was going like, this screen's 20 feet tall, and he's only 7 foot, 6 foot.
Yeah.
He just walks up to it, and it comes out like it's coming at you. And you're standing in the audience going like, because it was his face coming right out of it.
That's cool.
And it wasn't really. It must have been some kind of a, I don't know how they actually did it, but it was really cool. Then Pink Floyd, they played Three River Stadium.
Yeah, I was there
I'll
at that
probably
one.
never see anything like that again.
Oh, that was great. Those
Whatever I
big
did
balloons
see
and
of it.
Yeah.
yeah. The good thing was with Pink Floyd, I was young enough, and not that I've ever done anything recreational, which I'm not opposed
allowed
to.
to in a hot
Yeah, I'm not opposed to. I'm just saying.
You can talk about it now.
But like then, I didn't.
As of
so
last night, I think.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, then what are we drinking for? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You
you're
meant-
allowed what 2 ounces or something.
2
Yeah.
pounds.
2 ounces. 2 ounces, which you think in like terms of weight, like an ounce wouldn't be that much, but
Yeah, and you can grow 5 plants.
yeah. Well, somebody texted me and was like, "Hey, I don't know anything about marijuana, but is like 2 ounces like a lot?" He's like looking over the laws, and I'm like, 2 ounces is more than I've ever seen like at one time. Like it's a
Really?
it's a lot. Yeah, it's like 2 ounces is.
I forget
lot.
what a bag weighs back when I was doing it back years ago. But you'd get half a bag and a whole bag and all.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
forget what it weighed.
the
but
dime bag.
the dime
or-
bag.
Yeah, the only the most I know about anything about marijuana is everything I saw in a Cheech and Chong movie.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't snort Ajax. That's
or ride in a van with.
or the weed that's part Labrador. Yeah,
2 ounces would have a street value of almost around $400 to $500.
and you're allowed to have that on
You're
your
allowed.
person.
You're allowed to have that on your person, which is if I were to hand you 2 ounces right now, it'd be 2 big bags. You'd be like, "What do I do with it? It's stinking
The
out."
$400 or
every- like,
$500 today was probably what, $20, $50 back then.
Yeah.
Back in my
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
You know, you used to. I probably shouldn't talk about it. You used to buy a joint for 50 cents. You know, now it's like $4, $5. And you don't know what you're smoking anymore. That's
Right,
what
yeah.
I don't like about it. That's
So
'cause I
with
quit.
that bill, that was just strictly marijuana, right?
I believe so.
So what about like mushrooms? I mean, is that still technically illegal? I mean,
That's be still illegal.
is it?
Yeah, I think to get states right now that it's legal, and it's like Colorado, maybe Utah. I'm not sure about.
Yeah, because I
Utah,
always
but
see
definitely
like
Colorado.
on social media stuff where like there's these places that are saying you can get psychedelics, but
You can go on Etsy right now and buy spores of psilocybin
really.
in a little petri dish, and you can if you were wanting to grow your own magic mushrooms, you would just order off Etsy and just plant it.
All right, so
Well,
the
I'm
10 string tavern gardening show is coming up soon.
The who was it? The high's trying to change that now. Now that it's legal, but they're trying to make it to where it's illegal again.
Oh,
They're trying to push it.
I really don't understand.
Because Billy Blaze or whatever his name was from OV DJs, he went out with a bunch of people, and that's how they actually kept it, because they were going to put it down,
Oh yeah,
and they all went out there complaining. And
to like the state.
Yeah.
Court. Okay.
And that's what I said. I don't understand it. I mean, I've been around a lot of people that enjoy marijuana, and I just don't understand what is the stigma with it. And the other thing is too, like, I mean, as a vet and with my health history, tomorrow I could get a marijuana card. I could get a medical marijuana card.
See,
No questions asked. However, if I do that, I can't ever buy another gun.
Right,
I can't.
yeah.
I gotta.
Can't conceal.
Why? I mean,
It's
but the
nuts.
thing is like through like all my health history and everything that I just went through, I could have a shit ton of pain pills and opioids and all that. I can get prescribed that. That's fine. I walked in. I mean, this year I bought 3 guns
what
alone.
happens now that it's legal? Do you still get the card?
Yeah,
Yeah, but you still can't have any firearms, which blows my mind because I've never
What I'm
ever
saying
ever.
is, if you go out and you already had the medical card, now that it's legal, do you still have to have the medical card?
I
'Cause
want.
I think it's two
I
different
think-
things.
yeah,
One
it
is
is.
medical marijuana, and the other is like a recreational marijuana.
I would.
think.
I
I
don't.
don't know the law.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I would assume like medical card, maybe your doctor can prescribe you a certain amount where
Yeah.
you can get that for free, covered by your
Yeah.
insurance. Where the other way around,
That's what I always want. As soon as I seen all this, I was like, so why you go get a medical card to get it? Now that it's legal, how does
Yeah.
it work?
Yeah.
And the thing is like where I was getting my treatment in West Virginia, they were like, "Hey, you would probably really benefit from getting a card. We can't prescribe it for you.
yeah,
However, if we get something from another doctor in Ohio saying, "Hey, yeah, we'll fill out. This is what you had," but it's that kind of like jump loophole. But
So-
like I said, I've never, ever, ever, ever seen anybody who was really high get violent. So I have no idea how that ties with the gun or anything else. And
Oh,
if anybody
yeah.
knows that, please let me know.
we
Because
have
it
a
just makes
we
no
have a
sense.
fully stocked bar full of liquor, and most of the time I have a Glock 19 underneath this bar.
Yeah.
So how's that work with, like, you have a bong and you get pulled over? Is that illegal still?
I would assume. I would assume. I don't know if it would be under like a contraband law or if
Because like
it
I
would
said, I don't
be
know anything
more-
about these laws, but
I don't know if that would be more like an open container type thing.
That's
or-
what I was
yeah,
thinking.
That's a
Yeah.
weird one. Yeah, because that's a interesting question because all these like Groovy Glass and all these like head shops popping up. If you get caught with that in a state that has recreational, is that contraband or what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah, because
That's-
you're going to have the marijuana in your car. You can't do anything with it if you don't have something to do.
Yeah.
Papers or roll.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, I'm so
Whatever.
ignorant. I still don't even know how a bong works. I've seen
Oh, the
thousands of them.
bongs?
I don't know, and I've seen people using them. I just can't wrap my head. I'm like, how does that work?
Believe us or
And
not, I was in a store yesterday and I saw this Christmas tree bomb. I was standing there looking at it, going like, "What in the world are they going to come up with next?"
like I said, I can't wrap my. I'm like, I don't know what's the water for, and I know that water after a while stinks if it gets spilled.
You don't drink the bong water.
No, never drink the bong water. No, it's it's.
I can remember back when I was younger. This guy comes. I won't mention names because walking in with a school bus, a little toy school bus. Puts it up to his mouth. I'm looking over at him going, what in the world are you doing? He said, I had to make a bong.
Yeah.
Made it out of a school bus.
I know people that literally have not worked their entire life. Oh, I can't find a job. You made a bong out of a Coke can and an apple. You can figure shit out. Like you can get a job. But
we won't mention names, but Doug and I used to work with a guy that had to have a certain amount of cannabis in his system before he played at a certain time. It had to be like 10 minutes before like 4 count. And if like
he'd just disappear.
Yeah, he would disappear. Like we would be like, all right, well, what are we gonna do for rehearsal? You know, you turn around, turn back, and he's gone, like in the bushes somewhere. But like if we were set up ready to play somewhere, and it was like we got delayed 10 minutes, he'd flip out. Oh, I got to go back to the bushes again. Just to get all ready.
And like I said, to each your own. I've never, like I said, I've been around it a lot, and I've never seen anybody get. Everybody's. It's just. I don't know.
I've been around it. I don't even have to smoke it, and I'm sitting here with a buzz.
Well, listen, what's funny is one of my good friends who runs the 411 Foundation, my wife and I and Tim and Kyle, we all went out there because they were doing the 50-50 at the Blue Jackets game. Mm-hmm. So if you go up and you get volunteers and you get the 50-50, they get a part of the proceeds go back to their nonprofit. And it was the Grateful Dead night. And I was right at the main entrance. I probably had a contact buzz. As soon as the doors opened, it was like, it just hit you.
That was me at the Pink Floyd concert.
Yeah, and it was like,
I didn't have to smoke anything. Just walk in.
That's it.
Since the law passed, there's been a lot of like advertisements on Facebook now of people doing like mail-in, like gummies, mail-in stuff.
Yeah.
I remember Nick Lachey. Is it Nick Lachey? Yeah. At one point, this was maybe like 5-10 years ago, as they were talking about Ohio getting into medical before recreation was even a thing. Nick Lachey was like had all this property ready to start a farm.
Like Nick Lachey from like 98 Degrees.
Nick Lachey, married to Jessica. Is it Jessica Simpson? Yeah. He's from Ohio, and he had the most property just ready to go reserved for the marijuana industry as soon as Ohio would change its laws.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got through with that but that at one time he was ready to go. So he brought us some shirts from old Jamboree.
Jamboree and my old DJ stuff and
DJ Beef, as I saw that logo.
We have the fire from back when I used to haul water at Jamboree in the Hills, 2007.
I have a shirt that you got me, the Water and Grounds crew, from when I played in 14. So you started year one.
Well, when I started was clear back in, like, I got it here somewhere. Because I would never remember.
Right.
2 years before they went to the new stage.
Okay.
Was when I worked with Bill Graham. And I was at a show, and I come to the old site. Bill comes out and gets me out of the van, because I was out there sleeping. Bill said, "Can you work?" And I'm like, "Doing what?" He said, "Come in, we need monitor guy." And I'm like, all right. Next thing I know, Tom Beck come in and said, "I need your social security number, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be working." I'm like, "Really?" And I walked out on that stage and I looked at all those people going, Jesus Christ. My heart was like, it stopped. And this was the smaller version of the Jambo too. And I stood there for the longest time going, holy crap. Then the new site, I remember walking out on stage with Tom Beck one day, and everybody in the front knew me, and they started chanting, "Beef, beef, beef." And Tom Beck looks at me and said, "Who the hell is Beef?" I said, "Me." He said, "You know all those people?" I said, "Christ, I probably know everybody in here."
Yeah.
I said, "I've been doing this for so long."
Man.
Now, before you came to that stage and saw that, what kind of shows were you working before that?
I was mostly DJing.
Mostly DJing.
Mostly country acts with Bill Graham.
Okay.
I usually did the monitors for him all the time, or the lights. He couldn't find a light guy. "Hey, Doug." All right.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to do lights, but it's a job. And Bill took care of me. Since I was probably 17, 18 years old, I've known Bill Graham.
Shout out Bill Graham with BG Audio.
He's took care of me for years and years and years. he's still right there in my driveway.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if I need a sound guy, him or Tim or, Justin Malarkey and Justin West and all them guys, I know all of them. So
I remember pulling up to your house in the morning before we had a gig, maybe like in Columbus or something, and like one of Bill's guys, like Tank, would just be sitting on your outside table drinking coffee. You weren't even home yet. I'd say, "What's up, Tank?" Just waiting on everybody. You know who I was lucky to meet was Bill's son, Michael. He's a hell of a sound guy too.
Yeah, he went on the road with me with the Brighton Boys for a while.
Oh, Michael did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 years he went on the college tours with us.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he I met him when we did probably would have been the Oktoberfest at Ogilvy, and then randomly he was doing sound for weddings at the farm when I was working, and then Sally would come in the kitchen or wherever I was. He's like, "Is somebody here named Razor? Somebody's asking for Razor," and he knows he's back here. Who's Razor? I'm like, I know him.
I went to Bill and I said, "Can you send Mike with me?" He
Yeah.
said, "For what?" And I said, "I need a sound guy because I got too many other things to do. I got to take care of the bus. I got to get to the place and find out where we're playing, get everything set up." I said, "I don't have time to do the sound."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, what can you pay?" And I told him. He's like, "All right, yeah, if Mike wants to do it." So, I mean, we went Florida, Texas, out to Colorado. That was we went out there
Colorado
on
trip.
we went out there on the day that what is it for marijuana?
420.
420.
420, yeah.
We went out there on 420. Holy crap! Just imagine. I don't have to go on about it.
Did you take the bus out to Colorado?
No.
Oh,
No, we took-
I couldn't
No, we
imagine.
took my truck and a trailer.
I was gonna say.
We picked two of the Brighton Boys up at the airport. And as soon as I picked them up, we were straight at one of the shops.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they come out of there with, you name it.
Nice.
But that was an interesting about 4 years with the Brighton Boys. I had a really good time. I never thought I'd get to do what I did with them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would have with Matt, but it never went that far. I mean,
Yeah.
we stayed in like 3 or 4 states, but with the Brighton Boys, I was all over.
Yeah.
I mean, we went everywhere. My only downfall with them was we drive clear to Florida, then have to drive back to Pittsburgh in 2 days to get another show.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And I kept complaining. I'm like, you need to tell your tour manager, we need to pay on the way down, or we need to play on the way back. And it just never worked that way. But
Just add one show for gas
Yeah.
because it was like $500, $600 to fill that thing up.
yep.
Wasn't bad on the highway because like when the bus had the air ride, you were kind of just using like just inertia, just keep going. But we went out to Cameron one time, and you could see the fuel gauges sink as we were driving. You could just see it just slowly go to empty.
It was
What was that place we went down in West Virginia? It was like, I kept driving and driving. I'm like, where in the world are we going?
Definitely
All of a sudden,
Cameron
we were
was-
boom. We opened up for, I can't think of the guy's name.
Uh,
It was clear down the back of woods of West Virginia.
Was it
somewhere.
American Idol winner, Voice winner? We did
Can't
open up for
remember.
Craig Wayne Boyd a couple times. That might have been
Might have
been
been.
Craig Wayne Boyd.
Tim or Matt could tell you, I couldn't. I mean, we kept driving and driving. And
so it was
and it's
more
these 1-lane roads.
it was more gallons per mile instead of miles per gallon.
I was thinking, what cow path are we taking next? And all of a sudden, here we are in this town. I mean, they had a pretty good sized stage. And I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe that.
Today's sponsor of the podcast is Sage and Soul Decor Rental. Sage and Soul Decor Rental is a decoration rental business located in the Ohio Valley that helps you add flash and flair to your event, whether it being a wedding, graduation, bridal shower, baby shower, you name it. They have wall decor to table decor, accents, centerpieces, marquee signs, and they've also been building their own arches in different styles. To view their items and collections, check them out on Facebook, Sage and Soul Decor Rental. You can even schedule a visit to check out the items in person. And as a special to listeners of this podcast and first-time customers, mention this podcast at checkout and take 10% off of your first event with Sage and Soul Decor Rental. Again, that's Sage and Soul Decor Rental. Check them out. You know what story I was thinking about today I wanted to bring up? Remember when we went down to Kentucky and we almost about fought the whole state board?
All right, I want to hear this one.
So if
Like and follow for part 2. Let's go.
yeah, so if you're like a country music singer and you want to get like a tour going, and if you want to follow the path of like say Luke Bryan, Florida Georgia Line, all those like in that era, the pop country guys, what you would do is you would try to get into what they call a state fair board. And we went down, the first one we went to was Ohio. It was in Columbus at the convention center. And what they do is you have a lineup, say like 5 bands, and you're in the Columbus Convention Center. And I have a picture of it all edited in because it was a really cool stage. But there would be like 50 to 100, I can't remember how many tables, but each table was a county in Ohio that ran the fair board.
Yeah.
So you would go up, you'd play your set, and then the convention center provided us with a hotel room. So after we would get done playing, we go up to the hotel room, and then if you were from whatever county, Belmont County, Jefferson, you would go to our hotel room afterwards, and then we would negotiate us coming to your state fair.
Okay.
Your county
fair.
Yeah, and I remember in Ohio we had we were with KDO from the Ohio Valley, and there was a band from Australia came, and this is when we were sponsored by Fireball. So like they sponsored our whole hotel room filled with like free cinnamon whiskey, and
nice.
It was a blast. But so like the amount of like money that went into the production of like the Ohio State Fair Board was probably like thousands and thousands. Did the same thing in Kentucky. $100 maybe went into this event, and like Ohio provided us with like a hotel room. We were sitting against the wall, like toward the back of like the ballroom in like Kentucky, and I remember. We didn't take the bus down. We took
my van,
your van, and I think it maybe the other guys took a Sprinter behind us. But I remember, we got there before anybody else. I remember the sound guy going, "Whoever got this food catering van needs to get the hell out of the driveway." We're like, "You talking about the van with all the radio stations and all the band stickers on the back?" He's like, "Yeah, who is it?" Like, it's us. We're the first band. And to make a long story short, just Kentucky was not friendly to us. And Doug had this real nice. It looked like a mic Elvis would sing out of. It was a Shure mic. It was very expensive, but it looked like an antique
like
classic.
that old 50
Matt liked to sing out of it.
Elvis Presley mic.
Yeah, and I remember their sound engineer halfway couldn't have more problems with this thing. It was wireless. So it was like halfway through the show, he goes up, grabs the mic, he goes, "Get this like $30 piece of crap out of here," just tosses it. And Doug's whole face just turned beet red and just... Oh man,
that happened to us up in Washington, PA too.
Oh,
I left. That guy pissed me off. Said, "Get your $20 microphone off my stage." And I said, "Well, then give it back to me." He handed it back to me. I went out and got in the bus, and away I went.
Yeah,
left Matt standing there. I was just like, no. I don't do that.
And you went up in Kentucky, you went up to the bar that was in the ballroom afterwards, after the whole fight, and you're like, "Give me a Bacardi and like Coke or whatever." And he said, "Sorry, we can't do liquor anymore tonight," or something. I remember our booking agent at the time like slams 100 down the bar. He goes, "Didn't you hear this man?" Like just screaming. He was just screaming all night. We didn't have a hotel room to go back to, just a long drive home from Kentucky.
Man,
I don't think we got any counties out of it. We were like, never again in the state. So thinking back to all the years of Jamboree in the Hills, from a stage and production standpoint, who was your favorite act?
I can tell you my worst.
Who was it?
Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner was your worst? You didn't like it?
They were the...
Now, which Leonard Skinner are you talking about?
They were good.
Are you talking about like pre or post plane crash?
The real Leonard Skinner.
Okay. I saw them.
They were good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they were bad musicians. They were great.
Mm-hmm.
But their before show and after show, no. Worst people I've ever seen.
Really? Just entitled or?
Well, they cleared out the stage for one. You wasn't allowed anywhere around the stage, backstage or anywhere.
That's always annoying. Blackout stage.
You had to leave. Then, like me, I had to work. I didn't have a choice. They made me leave. And I'm just like, why? I have to do my job back here. Go, get. And it wasn't the band. It was their manager.
Right,
so,
right.
It wasn't really, I'm not like putting them down, but it was like unreal. But my favorite would be probably Neil McCoy.
Neil McCoy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of all the people that came there, a whole bunch of great ones, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I got to meet Toby Keith. That was crazy.
Oh, I'm
come
sure.
down to the after show that they had last year of it.
Okay, yeah.
He come down to the after show. Walk on stage, he was drunk. He couldn't put his foot up on the monitor. I was just standing back because I was on stage. and that was his tour bus that I owned. And JD had told him that I had his tour bus. Well, he gets out of the car, and they had so many sheriffs standing around the stage that I went to go down the steps, and they stopped me. They said, "You ain't going nowhere. Stay right there." I said, "Toby Keith's at the door of my bus. He wants to get in it." "I don't care. You're not leaving." And I'm yelling, "Toby," and he just walked around the stage and come up on the stage. I didn't get to meet him, but yeah, I had his tour bus.
Yeah, there was a bunch of TKs on the ceiling
Yeah.
when
Oh,
we
no
first
kidding.
I
got
took
it.
the benches out to clean underneath, get the popcorn and all that
Yeah.
crap. And it said Toby Keith's left tour bus seat, Toby Keith's right tour bus seat. And he told the guy that he looked in the bus and he saw that emblem that was on the floor.
Yeah,
And he said, "That was my bus. That's my wife's initials."
yeah.
That's what they were.
Oh, no kidding. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, he knew it was his bus.
Listen, I wish I had, growing up, as much as I love music and I love playing it, I've never done anything that resembles, a tour like that. And I just wish I had those tour bus stories, because you hear them and you're like, I get so jealous. I'm like, man, the most I got is like, we go military, we went TDY places and did crazy shit, which I'm sure it's probably the same difference, but still, you just, like, as a musician, like, I've always wanted to do that, tour bus stories. And
Yeah.
If you follow my Facebook, I just put it on there from the Brighton Boys.
Mm-hmm.
We were out in Indiana somewhere. I don't know exactly where. But we stopped at a rest area, and we were leaving. They were doing construction. Well, there was a drop off the pavement like that. Well, our bus driver at the time, wasn't me, was driving around that turn, and the back wheels fell off. Well, this bus went over like this,
Oh shit.
and I went flying across the bus like a football player going like this. There was a guy sitting there named Dave Ugar. He was sitting there, and he saw me coming. He was going.
It was just in slow motion.
I landed I caught the window and was like hugging around him, so I didn't land on him.
Yeah.
If I would have, I probably have killed him. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I was flying across that bus. But they tell that story on there about how it happened. We lost the front clip off the bus. I mean, I've never been so scared in my life. That was the only time that bus has ever really, besides being stuck,
Yeah.
was ever really in any kind of trouble.
Yeah.
I was lucky with
The
that.
passenger seat on that was awesome because it was also an air ride seat,
Mhm.
and the windshield was so big you didn't have like a dashboard or anything. You just sat there and you just saw
Just took it in.
you just saw the highway in front of you. It was nuts.
Oh,
Yeah, and you're
man.
just lucky I never slammed on the brakes.
Well,
If you didn't have your seatbelt on, you're going out the front windshield.
Yeah, because the spiral steps are right there. There wasn't a floor to land
Oh,
on.
man.
And
Yeah, and it was a drop, probably 3-4 feet.
yeah. It would be like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We would be on our way home. It would be Doug driving, me in the passenger seat, and it would be Power Man 5000 and Pantera, just nonstop after a country
As
show.
I was just gonna say, as you're on a country music
After
tour.
a country show to keep us up, we would just be blasting.
The rest of the guys are in the back listening to country.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm a country fan, but I'm not that big of a country fan.
Right.
I'd rather hear Nickelback, Three Doors Down,
Yeah.
Well, what's funny
Nine
is
Inch Nails.
on Spotify, like if you use Spotify at the end of the year, it tells you
That
like
year
what
end,
you did.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it said that I listened to, I forget, it was like, and I didn't even know it was like, I listened to like 93 different genres of music. I'm like, is there 90, because I must have hit every single possible one.
Yeah.
So everything from classical to like death metal, but it's funny, but yeah.
I think my Spotify end of year playlist number one was the Excavator song from Blippy. from Layla listening to it. There's
You got a personalized message from Blippy.
there's a Blippy Christmas album that she's been
Oh, I know.
listening
We
to
found
now.
it. That's what when we had her at the house here, we were playing that entire album, and that girl danced from the first song all the way through, and even had Mimi Up and even had Pop Up dancing to Blippy Christmas.
Yeah, we went through the lights the day before last, and toward the end they have a tree that's blue and orange lit up. She's like, a blue and orange Blippy tree, just like screaming, just made her.
Oh yeah,
made
that's
everything.
it was she's great, man. This is gonna be an absolutely fun Christmas with her.
Yeah.
She's gonna really be into it.
Well, she can't tell you anything about Christmas last year, but Easter last year, she knows every detail. So there was a moment, like a little, almost a year ago, where like she got conscious, like her memory
That's
started
it.
like forming and stuff.
You asked me earlier what time I started at Jamboree in the Hills. It was 1987.
Can you look up? Can you look up the lineup?
Yeah,
If that'll
absolutely.
come on. I don't know if
That was
TV's
the
on.
year of the mud pit.
That was the year.
80s, 88, 89.
89.
89 was the year of the mud pit.
And 77 was when they started, right?
Because I was at the old site for 2 years, and it moved over to the new one in 89, 90 in there somewhere.
Did you see there's a big GoFundMe right now for Jamboree,
Yeah.
the radio?
I don't.
What year was it?
well,
1987.
I started in 1987. That had been at the old site.
Let's see if it's.
Yeah, I saw they were taking donations, but
Yeah.
I just think like
But-
how long can that last you?
My only problem with that is there's really no DJs in there anymore.
Oh my
Yeah.
lord. Okay,
It's all
so
on-
1987 lineup for Jamboree in the Hills.
Yeah, here,
It's,
put on my prescription.
Hold on, let me.
I got to look back underneath my bifocals.
There's a fill light pointed right at me.
All right, so here's the thing. It was Jamboree in the Hills, Jamboree in the Hills Country Fest 1987, and it was 2 days.
Yeah.
So Saturday, July 18th, 1987, the acts were Jerry Lee Lewis and Merle Haggard, and then let's see if it says it says add
just
satellite.
add.
So that's all they're listing. And then on the 19th was Dwight Yoakam and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Okay.
Isn't there a site that brings up all the old flyer things?
I don't know.
All the people that was on it?
Let's see.
I can't remember. I remember seeing it one day. It's got all the.
I can't believe Jerry Lewis
Please.
played at Jambo.
Yeah. There was a lot of the older acts at the old site.
Yeah.
There's there's videos here. There's Tanya Tucker. There's Neil McCoy. That's set list.
What was the site that you brought me to? Was it Jamboree in the mountains? There was another Jamboree. I think it was in Ohio. You took me to the old site.
All the one out by Indiana.
Was that it?
Yeah, it's
Was it Jamboree in the mountains?
country jambo or not country jambo, country something. I remember what you're talking about. But I was
Okay, here we
think
go.
of the name of
Here
it.
we go. Oops.
Brian went there last year.
Oh, this is great. Okay. 1987. Charlie Pride, Dwight Yoakam, Earl Thomas Conley, Janie Fricky, Jerry Lee Lewis, Louise Mandrell, Marie Osmond.
Marie Osmond.
Who is Maeve Nutter?
Maeve Nutter.
He's the guy that sang the country music song. The
Oh,
opening
really?
song,
Yeah, the original, yeah.
Maeve.
Mhm.
Okay.
Nutter.
Merle Haggard, Mickey Gilly, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, T. Graham Brown, Tanya Tucker, and Tom T. Hall. Man, those are some throwback names.
Yeah.
I was on another radio station and we was talking to Maeve Nutter.
My lord.
He wrote the song Jamboree in the Hills.
Yeah.
It what's the creek down below Moundsville? He walked out on a rock in the
sure.
middle of the creek, stood there in the pouring down rain and wrote the song. They asked him I can't remember the whole story. He could tell it way better than I can, but he was asked to do it. So he went out there. I can't think of the name of that creek. I wish Tim was here. He would tell me.
I'm not sure.
Oh man, but you know that's the thing. I mean, if you're a songwriter, there's just that's a special gene in you that you, like you said, you find an inspiration. You the same way like songwriters, poets, everything else. I'm out there going. I'm standing on the creek and it's raining. I'm like, I'm wet. That's
Mason Nutter's before me, but then what's his name from around Steubenville wrote the new one.
Oh.
The one that made fun of our tour bus. He put his pickup truck on because Matt was taking a tour bus to Jamboree in the Hills. So he put his pickup truck on line saying,
Talking about
getting the tour
Zelic.
bus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Putting
he's
the tour
actually
bus-
from Mount Pleasant area.
Mount Pleasant,
okay.
Dillonville area, yeah.
yeah.
And Joe Zelic wrote the new Jamboree in the Hills.
He basically changed the lyrics to one of his other songs.
Yeah.
Dwight Yoakam. We started watching Goliath on Amazon, and the first season Dwight Yoakam's in it,
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's Dwight Yoakam. And Amy was like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's him. She goes, there's no way. He looks terrible.
Was Tim McGraw was in Yellowstone for a while, wasn't he?
In the first spinoff, 1883,
Okay.
yeah. So
Who was it? 89.
89.
I was looking at 86. 86 had a crazy line. Reba was in 86. George
Yeah.
Jones, 86. Lee Greenwood.
Mel Tillis, Lee Greenwood, George Jones. Man, that's just crazy. Like these just amazing pioneers in country music were literally right down the
Because
road.
if I remember right, it was 89 when they started the 4-day.
Yeah, go up to 89.
Okay.
If I remember right. It might have still been a 2-day.
It looks
right
it
in that
might
area.
it might have been 90 they started the 4-day because look
Wow.
at the length of the lineup.
89, yeah, like I said, 89 or 88 looks a little bit longer. But anyway,
Thought it
89.
said Stevie Wonder for a second. It's Steve Ware.
Stevie Wonder's like, where the hell am I playing? Nobody
Oh,
knows.
The smells he would pick up on.
Yeah.
He, his piano was never in tune.
No.
Never.
He's like nobody singing "Isn't She Lovely?" Like, where in the hell am I at? All right, 1989, the Bellamy Brothers, Charlie Daniels Band, George Jones, Katie Lang, Kathy Mateo, Louise Mandrell. Man, the Mandrell sisters were in it, right?
Yeah.
Mel McDaniel, Mel Tillis again, Michael Martin Murphy, Patty Loveless, Restless Heart, Tom T. Hall, Willie Nelson. Little funny story about Willie Nelson. And I was taught this when I worked at Star Lake, the amphitheater. They built Star Lake, and they had everybody come in, and they wanted Willie Nelson to be the first act ever at Star Lake.
Uh-huh.
And we've all been to Star Lake, and most of our viewers have been there. And it's just, I mean, it's a beautiful amphitheater. And Willie Nelson supposedly said, I will never, ever, ever play that shithole.
Really?
So right behind the actual amphitheater backstage, behind that is just this mucky, just shitty, marshy, just smelly pond. Which aptly, after he said that, that's now known as Willie Nelson Pond.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the one they hit the golf balls into or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they ended up, Willie Nelson said no. So the first opening act at Star Lake, Billy Joel.
Really?
Yeah. So and you've seen the acts that come through. And like I said, I've seen the Eagles both nights that they did Hell Freezes over there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to play that shithole. 1989, you were playing Jamboree in the Hills.
Yeah, that wasn't a shithole, but it was a mud hole.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that would have been before they figured out the whole irrigation system. So it's definitely a mother.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's what I'm saying. And I want to say that probably Star Lake opened maybe around that time, because I know that I worked there when I come home from college. So that was after 91. So it was, yeah. But anyway, I digress. But
Well, what was the first name of that? Was it Star Lake? Was that the very
it was
first
Star
name?
Lake, yeah.
Very first name?
and then I don't know what it. I don't even know what. I think it's
Back
the
Star Lake.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
pavilion at
back-
Star Lake, but it's been
Pavilion
Key
at, yeah.
Bank. It's been, I don't know what it's been, but
A bunch of things.
that's the same way you could change Jamboree in the Hills, and no matter what Ticketmaster would call it, everybody's going to call it Jambo.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
So I wish they'd have kept Three River Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that was more of a, you got to go see everything at Three River Stadium.
Yeah.
Now you got to go to either,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's not Heinz Field anymore. It's
Accusure.
Accusure.
But like I said, I saw Ed Sheeran there over the summer. We were on the floor, the field of the arena, but but the thing is he also had a circular stage. It's not like most of the times where they just put it at the end and you're there, but he had a circular stage. I mean, it was a fantastic show, but
That'd be a nice gig to run sound for in an arena, and all you have to worry about is a singer, his guitar, and a loop pedal.
The
That
first-
was
that's it. Yeah.
Very
it was-
circular
inputs.
stage I ever seen was Def Leppard at Wheeling.
yeah.
Did you see that?
Really?
I was there for that one.
Raised
Yep.
up in the middle of it.
Yep.
That's back when I think he just lost his arm. That was like one of the
Not
first
long
tours.
after. Yeah. It was, Photograph Tour, maybe. It was, I don't know, but yeah, I was, I went to that one, and it was,
Yeah, because the drum set actually raised up and turned as it was going up.
yeah.
When I went to Vegas, we stayed in the Hard Rock Hotel, and the theme of that hotel, that one is a lot of drums. And when you walk in, that one of his drum sets were there, and you saw the left foot pedals,
Oh, Jesus.
and you would think like this world touring band, it would be like pretty like I don't like have a lot of bells and whistles on it. It was just
pedals.
little stomp buttons. That was it.
That was
Like,
it?
Yeah, like nothing labeled.
Yeah, there's probably like, what, 20 some of them?
Yeah, like 20 of them.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, being a drummer, like I said, I've seen
it
those
was-
pictures, but it's just
There was some metal band opened up for them because they had those like chains on their drum set at the time. It opened up for Def Leppard. I can't think of who it
who
was.
was that? Oh man,
I remember the band. Just can't remember the name. They had this like
let's see if we can
crazy-
pull up.
They had this like crazy drum set.
You'll have to search it by Civic Center.
That's it.
I don't even know what year that would have been. Probably 2000 somewhere in there.
I think it was before then. I want to say it was 80, but
We'll have to get Kelly in, and Griller will be like, "Here, just give us one little teaser for just this podcast only. Who you bringing in? Who can we get the scoop on?"
You need to get Kelly and Justin
Yeah,
Malarkey.
I actually reached out to Malarkey because I was like, "You're everywhere. You're behind the scenes everywhere."
Well, he's probably got some stories you could tell about the stage.
Mm-hmm. Get the two Justins in here. Now, what's West up to now?
He's working for. Actually, he was working for a furnace company. Now I think he's doing that golf thing, that virtual golf. I
Okay.
think he's setting that up too.
Okay. Lumberjacks.
And he goes to Florida all the time and does some band down there.
Yeah.
I don't get to talk to him very much anymore.
Yeah, you used to always run into him.
Well, I mean, when he works at the house, I was there just about every day.
Mm-hmm. Both the Justins are workers.
Justin West is more the boss. I mean, it worked. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. He's more the boss.
this is
I like
concertarchives.com. It's showing 1997 was Kiss. I was there for that one. 1988 Queensryche. I was there for that. 83 was Styx.
Is Queensryche open up for Def Leppard?
I would imagine that Def Leppard would be the
closer. Yeah.
I know it was a heavier metal band.
You know how much these two right here really suck that I wasn't old enough.
AC/DC and Rush.
Rush played in Wheeling. Rush,
I see
AC/DC.
him at the Capitol Music Hall.
Oh man,
And then about a month or so later, it was Ted Nugent. Played at the
Nice.
Civic Center, or the Capitol Music Hall.
it's funny when you look at this. It's like Gordon Lightfoot, Rush, AC/DC, REO Speedwagon, Styx, John Denver, Queensryche.
I was in 7th grade, and my shop teacher, which is my cousin, God rest his soul, he just passed away, Daryl Nash, come to me and he said, "Can you go to a concert?" And I was like, "I don't know if my mom and dad let me or not." He said, "Rush is playing over at the Capitol Music Hall." I said, "Well, you have to ask my mom and dad." You know, I was in 7th grade. Mom was kind of reluctant, like say no, but she's, "Yeah, go ahead." So we went in this van.
This van down by the river.
We had a good time though.
I just
Then I got to go see Ted Nugent after that.
and the thing is I mean, 1979 to see Rush in Wheeling probably cost you like $3.
Yeah, $10 tops
Yeah,
back
it's just
then.
The one of the REO shows that you brought up, Q told me a story that back in that day, normally you have like the stagehands union where like Robert from the Capitol can just choose from that list, but Q told me like back in the day, the Civic Center, they used to just pick people off the streets and be like, "Hey, do you want to be a stagehand?" And he said at the REO show, they had it looked like tubes that you would stick ball rockets on or whatever. And his job there was like 10 across the front of the stage for REO, and his job was to put blasting powder in these things, and he was supposed to put in, it was like maybe a quarter of a cup. He told me he put in like a cup and a half. And he said when these things went off, the lead singer shot back a foot. He said like all the front row shot back, and he said in my mind, he said, there's no paperwork on me, and just left. Just left. Right. He's like, I don't need a paycheck. I just need to get out of here.
Kind of open the door and back out. And, like you see Homer Simpson's just kind of sleek into the bushes.
Upcoming concerts we got. We got tonight at the 50 Years of Hip Hop down the Waterfront
We're going to get
Hall.
ready to wrap that up. We're going to go check
the
it out.
DJ thing's supposed to be doing some things. I don't know when. Or I think Valentine's Day we're going to be at the hall again, rattling all the windows and doors. And
We'll just call Louie. He'll tell us
you guys
everything.
left, I looked over at Tim. I said, "How sound is this building?" He went, "What?" I said, "How sound is this building?" I'm looking over there. The cement was coming off the brick, and I'm like, "You sure this building's sound?" He said, "That's not a wall." He said, "All the steel's holding it." I'm like, "You sure?" I leaned back against the door, and I was like, "Well, if this place comes down, I'm shooting."
That's it. Yeah, we left that night, and like I said, they had to raise the garage door because it's all glass. They had to raise it because it was literally vibrating the glass.
It was definitely a good night.
Yeah, you don't think of that blast of wind that those subs will have.
Up on the third floor, they were knocking the glasses off the shelves and stuff. On the
Really?
floor.
On the third floor?
But luckily, they all, like, the Night Yins guys were there the first night.
Yeah.
When we were setting up and everything fell in the trash can. That's where everything fell.
Oh,
Upstairs is in the trash
Really?
can.
It was funny because I walked as they're doing that. I mean, that thing is just boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. I walked up to Tim and as loud as I could yell, I'm like, "You still don't have anything on my 1988 Mercury Lynx?" he just flipped me the one finger salute. But yeah,
Yeah, we had
just
10 18s. Well,
10.
six 18s, 2 15s, and
Yeah.
2 10s, but they were all thumping.
yeah. If anybody went there with a heart condition, Jesus, somebody could have been in cardiac arrest. You just slipped him in the waterfront.
Yeah,
It'd have put
walking
him right
through
back
a
to rhythm.
After we got done with Spot, that last one, the floor started bumping. We're like, I don't think we're going to get any more interviews in this thing
no.
tonight. We got a lot
That
of
was a
editing.
very interesting night. It was very fun, too.
Yeah. You stayed the whole time, didn't you?
Yeah.
I texted Doug the next morning or after. I'm like, you have to understand, I'm an Irish goodbye guy right now.
That's it.
With
Yeah,
the
it's
daughters.
just- The Irish goodbye. That's perfect. Yeah, we were. And what's funny is as we were leaving, like we were literally sneaking out the back steps, and we ran into the owner, and he kind of looked at us like, "Who are you, and why are you in my back steps?"
He gave me a look like, I am the owner. What are you doing here? I'm like, he must be.
Once
the
we introduced, he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's great, great guy." But it was
I was sitting there, and he come walking in. He had smile from ear to ear.
Really?
Yeah.
And he looked at Tim, and he was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, like I said, he literally walked in the door, and we're sneaking out the back. Like we're coming down the steps, and he was like, "Okay, what is going on?" And
because we had all the camera equipment.
yeah,
we
we're
had all
carrying
the
we're sneaking out like
'Cause
we
all the
just
other
robbed his
DJ
office.
Guys, they're all, they never had that many,
Yeah.
but they're all used to that.
Yeah.
But Tim and Dan was kind of like, "Wow, I've never seen this before." In a small place like that.
Right. As the foundation
you go out
crumbles
there,
around
yeah.
it.
That's it.
If you go to a concert, you're definitely going
Right.
to see that. But
What's funny is I would have liked to seen some of the clientele that was sitting on the other side of the bar. As soon as that started, probably were like, "Check, please."
Tim did a really good job that night. I got to admit.
Oh, that place is amazing. The way that they have that, he set that thing up. It's
Well,
just
tonight's
it's
probably
amazing.
going to be rocking in there too.
Oh, I
with
bet. I bet.
with the old
Especially the old school hip hop.
hip hop and and the rap and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
gonna
excited to
be-
go down and check it out. We're gonna have fun. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts at 8:00 tonight, which would be
Yeah.
last week.
yeah,
If you're watching that, if you're watching now, it's a really good time.
yeah. The next podcast will tell you how it was because it was great.
Then we'll get also shout out Corey Vance. We'll get him in here soon when he's feeling better.
Yeah, I hope he's feeling better.
And
It's
Gage has got a bunch of shows, but his mom didn't give me the list, so I don't know
Check
exactly
that out.
where he's.
GageJoseph.com. Check him out on Facebook.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
Schedule.
Follow him on Facebook. He always puts on a good show.
And I want to give a shout out to all the bands that I used to work with,
Yeah,
like
Oh, yeah.
Township Road and
We
Brighton
got that whole
Boys, and
cheat sheet. Yeah.
Brighton Boys, and Jesus, Matt Vanfossen. I mean, I started actually doing managing.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in my bar in Powhatan. He come walking in, him and Larry Kenny. Said, "Would you like to start working with us?" And I was like, "What do you want me to do?" They said, "Well, you do sound, managing and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it. No problem." I was with Matt 7 years, 8 years, something like that. It was a long time.
yeah. Shout out to Matt. He has a show next weekend.
The Voice, to be on the Voice.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
29th.
Yeah.
29th.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
Is he doing like a live?
Is it?
event?
No, I think it's the 16th.
Oh, but I mean, yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
the 29th. He's doing the.
Oh yeah,
they
the
get
29th
on
he's
there.
doing the voice audition, but he has a show the 16th
Okay.
someplace close.
Riverside, maybe?
Yeah, Riverside.
You're
that's it.
Riverside, Powhatan.
Yeah, so
I'll
yeah,
have to
we'll
show up.
shout out to him because, like I said, you
Have you
Is
been?
it a band or just?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. We'll have to get in touch with him,
Yeah,
and we'll
I am not
put it
sure.
on the next one.
Because I mean, I think he's in the transfer of starting a new one. I think. Not sure.
Yeah.
I'm about to get a hold
I
of him.
don't
I
want to
haven't,
say something I don't know what I'm talking about.
I
but-
haven't got a hold of him since he moved down here. I'll have to.
Yeah. He
That's
just
what's
had a big
Yeah, I was with-
life-changing event, so
I was
he's
with Matt
he's
for
close.
7 or 8 years. Then I went to the Brighton Boys. Then I was doing R13 for a while. We did that big
Yeah.
show at River City upstairs
Mhm.
where we had 2 stages. That's where I met Lou
They broke up shortly after that
Yeah,
show, I think. Yeah.
about 2 months afterward.
Yeah.
That's where I met Lou, and Lou was like, "What kind of production you doing?" I said, 2 stages, one at each end of Three River Stadium. Yeah. One at each end at River City. He's like, "How you gonna do that?" And I was like, "You'll see." I went to CA House and I talked to Justin West,
Yeah.
Justin Blarkey, and I was like, "I need all the bells and whistles." Reran cable from the 3rd floor down the back fire step, clear across the basement into their fuse box, straight into it.
No
That's how much
kidding.
power we used.
Wow.
When one band was playing, the other one was setting up. Whenever they got done, it wasn't even 5 minutes, the other band would start. When they were playing, this band was changing.
Yeah.
It was 3 bands on each end.
Mhm.
Lou had that big drum riser that I made out of the thing that they had the drums hanging out at CA House.
Oh yeah.
If you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the drum
Yeah.
set.
Mhm.
I bought that off of Steve. And he says, "What the heck you buying that for?" I said, "I'm going to make a drum riser out of it." Huh? And the plexiglass is like this thick.
Yeah.
It takes 6
I remember
guys
it,
to carry
yeah.
And Lou got up on that thing and he was just, I mean,
Oh,
Oh,
That-
listen,
that
I'd
was
be
everything
I'd
for
be
him.
like a pig in shit if I was sitting up there.
and I
Yeah.
made this big green room off the side there where you come up the steps from downstairs. And there was a big green room there. They had food and everything.
like
I mean,
if you
it
get off
was-
the elevator, you turn right
Yeah.
across, and then they have those.
Oh,
That
man.
was one of the biggest productions I did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've done a lot of them with the Brighton Boys, but
It was funny.
not
As,
that big.
as big as those productions are at River City up there, you have to take everything down those steps. 'Cause
Oh, they were
nothing-
scared to death.
Nothing fits in that elevator.
Oh
I
man.
remember
They were
that year.
scared to death where you're going to knock everything off.
That's
the
where you hire your
floor.
stagehands off the street. Hey man, you want $10? Come carry this
We were
up the
upstairs.
steps.
Upstairs on Friday doing a sound check. We were rattling the whole. Here comes Josh, running up the step. "You gotta turn that shit down." I'm like, "Why?" He said, "You just broke 3 bottles off the 2nd floor. They fell off the wall." I said, "We're already seeing how far we go, because that's how you do a sound check.
Right.
You push it as far as you can push it. Then you know where you can go to." I said, "We're not going to be that loud,
Yeah.
but that's where we want to see where we can go." And he was like, "Well, you just can't do that. No way you can do that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, we did."
That's all right. Well, the next big production is when we do the all genre High Valley bands, and we're gonna same thing. We're gonna bounce back and forth, and as soon as we find a venue,
I just wish CA House still had their production company. That was really an awesome production company.
Yeah, because
Nice.
then you had that mobile stage. You could, when you decide on an area, you could just be like, right here.
I mean, a lot
put
of
it down.
people disagreed. I didn't.
with the competition of it
You know,
all.
and I
yeah.
told all the competition, I was like, "Hey, you know, you got to look at it as everybody get together and work together, not be enemies with everybody.
Right.
What you guys are trying to do."
Yeah.
I said, "You guys can have all the arguments you want, leave me out of it. I'll work with you, I'll work with them, I'll work with everybody."
right.
I said, "Don't put me in the middle. I don't want to be there."
And that's the thing. And again, we've said this. I don't know how many times on this podcast. That's what's phenomenal about the High Valley, because you have so many people that they're not cutthroat. Like they want to
yeah.
see everybody succeed. So if
Yeah.
it's if you got the gig as the sound guy, it's not like Tim's going to be like walk in and be like, "Oh, hey, I can do this cheaper. I can do this." No, he's going to be like, "No, go with that. That's
Right,
it."
yeah.
And saying you'll do it. That's the thing with this High Valley, especially like with musicians and everything else. You like, and that's the thing. Like, especially like once we started playing, and like even when I played with Matt for the little bit of time that I did, I never was like, "Oh, you know, if you go see a show, you were like, oh, I can play better than that. I can." No, you're like, dude, you tore it up.
Yeah.
whatever. But it's just that's the thing, like you said about the High Valley. And I'm sure there's still pettiness because you're not going to avoid that. But as a whole, everybody supports everybody, and that's fantastic.
Well,
it's a loss.
I told you before we started, when this camera cuts off, if we do have a guest in here that just has nothing else nice to say about the bands around here, or doesn't want to work in that community, then we just won't have them back. We don't need to have somebody out of that community.
I mean, like I said, I work with everybody. I might not like the music they play, but I still go and just try to support.
Yeah.
I don't sit there going, oh my God, that music sucks. I'm there going, I like the beat. I don't like the song, but I mean,
like for me personally, and I'd tell Louis the same thing. I'm not into that whole big DJ kind of vibe, but we're absolutely going to be there to support him, and we'll be on here, and it's like, yeah, go do that, because you never know who you're going to reach. That is really their niche, and they'll be like, oh man, I didn't know until I saw it.
Well, the Brighton Boys come out with 2 albums. Mm-hmm. They never played any of their songs. They played all cover tunes.
Yeah.
And I kept telling her, I was like, come on, play your song. I said, you got the album, use it.
Right.
Don't keep scared to do it.
And they had a great selection of covers too.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into that part. In their case, you don't want to get into that. If you have originals, you don't want to get into that party band label to where you can't put out originals.
And that's pretty much where they got, because they were a wedding band.
Yeah, that's a good.
They started at Applebee's to start with. And that's their first one. And he says on that thing on my Facebook, we started at Applebee's, thought we were going to get rich.
Yeah.
He said, that didn't happen.
I mean, even like you said, if you're a music fan, when I lived in Southern Maryland, there was a guy down there that I went and saw him. I supported him. He's playing at the Hard Rock in Pittsburgh. I even messaged him. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen you since 2015. I can't wait. He messaged me right back. He knew exactly who I was. He's like, yeah, I remember. My daughter Sydney. Yeah, loved this guy. And he was like, yeah, I remember you and your daughter being there. And he was like, I can't wait to see it. And then, like I said, it's just that musician support is I think is a lost thing, but it's so prominent here in the High Valley that it's really good to see.
Funny story about the Brighton Boys. Before Doug started working with them, we went up. They're from Brighton, PA. We went up to almost scout them. It was like the second time we saw them. We go up to the bar there. Halfway through their set, this guy is on a bike, big long trench coat, bowler hat. Couldn't see who it was. He gets in the bar, gets on stage. It's Donnie Iris. He plays "Love Is Like a Rock" with them. Throws back his trench coat back on, gets on his bike, and is gone into the night. And people are like, "Yeah,
no kidding."
They're like, "Yeah, Donnie's from here. He just does that." Every once in a while.
I've met Donnie Iris a bunch of times.
Oh, my Pittsburgh Ease is coming out.
Yeah.
Donnie Iris.
Yeah.
One singer, and I can't think of her name, the Roots or something.
Yeah.
Is Alex's uncle or something.
Oh, really?
Have or some relation to Alex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
All right, guys. Let's put a ribbon on this so I can get to editing tonight.
Well, Beef, thanks for coming in again. I appreciate it.
Come there right now.
Yeah, if anybody's watching, go back in time. We're going to head over to the waterfront. So.
Yeah, funny story about that. When we were at the waterfront doing the DJ fest, we had Louis going, if you're not at the waterfront hall, get here right now. And the whole time Doug is trying to signal to Louis, like, hey, this isn't live. We're trying to say,
hey, tomorrow, but you go to back up in time.
We will get to the live podcast. We will get there soon, but
yeah, we have the system.
Can you do the phone ins?
Yeah,
you do that too.
Yeah, do the phone ins.
Yeah, we're getting there, and it's going to be. But like I said,
was just sitting here thinking you could call Matt or somebody.
Oh yeah,
join in with us.
And a cool program I have is they do an auto green screen. So you can set up in front of somewhere. It could be like a messy living room. I can take all that out and just have you literally sitting on the chair. Yeah. We did that We did that with Matt. And
we did that with and Johnny. Yeah. So
did that with again.
What's the roster thing that Tim's doing?
Redneck roster.
Redneck roster radio. Yeah.
Beam him in.
Is he part of something, or is it just his own broadcast?
His own broadcast.
That's his own thing. Yeah. So it's
I mean, I'm going to be involved in it, but
he's doing more segments to his, instead of we put out one episode where it's just you and I. His episodes would be 10 minutes at the waterfront, 10 minutes with Luke Burkhart's one of his good buddies, and 10 minutes was with bullshitting with beef at your bar. He'll put it all together in kind of like a variety show type of.
Tim's a really good guy. Everybody thought me and him would never get along because we clashed too much.
Yeah.
And me and him are just like best of friends.
Listen, I think other than if you're one of those people that Clark Griswold your house for Christmas, I think Tim will get along with anybody.
I want to see that first episode he puts out because I know he's been putting the rants he's going to do.
Oh yeah,
This first one's going to be rants.
I know he's got stuff in the chamber about the Moundsville government,
Oh,
about
yeah.
Christmas light, tree decorators. And...
Oh, we got to put Tim and Johnny Hot.
People
That'd
using
be
too
good.
We
much
got to put
power
that.
for their life.
Actually, we'll bring them in on ours because that thing's going to go through the roof.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys for having me. I
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
it.
in.
Absolutely,
Solo
man. We
this time.
appreciate it, man. It's
I
always a
didn't
good time
do too
sitting
bad.
talking to you.
No.
Listen, it's a good time, man. It's funny, especially now that we can bring up like the past lineups. That was
Yeah.
just so interesting to see, like huge, like I said, pioneers of country music. When you see like George Jones and all these people that played. But yeah, it's
Like Razor
that's
said earlier, I feel like I'm kind of part of this. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
here so many times.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I didn't
no,
get to
it's.
talk as much as I did tonight.
the
But
community.
But
yeah.
the thing is like I said, the great thing is with your involvement in this area, we could do a whole Doug Boston series.
Oh, yeah.
On just all the time on what you've done and where you've been involved in. It's just
Yeah, because I'm not in any like DJ'd and done sound and lighting and stuff. I worked in construction company, trucking company. I
Yeah.
mean, I've done everything.
yeah.
I worked at TLC in St. Louis, driving from California to New York back and forth, 8 years
Oh man.
till I saw a bad wreck out in
Yeah.
I forget where it was at, Kansas, I think. This semi just literally disintegrated. We were all going 100 mile an hour, and all we saw was ashes.
Ooh.
I mean, he hit the bridge 100 and some mile an hour, and just.
Yeah.
Then I called my dad, and I said, "Dad, can we start a trucking company?" He says, "Why?" And I was like, "I'm coming off the road.
Yeah.
I just saw the worst accident I ever want to see, and I don't want to drive over the road no more."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
God
when
bless
I come
her.
back and started doing all this.
Yeah. God bless those guys that do those long hauls like that, man. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah, like the incident in Columbus here. Just not
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
it's it's God bless them. Like I said, I could never ever do that job. Oh, I mean, because if I don't have somebody in the car with me, like today I had to go from here to downtown Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
I got to have the radio blasting and the window open, or I'm going to fall asleep. I suck at going long distances. I'm not ashamed to say it. So
Power Man 5000 and Pantera never
That's it.
failed us.
I used to not be that way.
Yeah.
Now I am.
Yeah.
Pantera's off the list because, like I said, when I played at Star Lake, the lead singer, spit on us because we were stopping people from jumping the stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was spitting on us, and so I don't.
He was also addicted to heroin.
Yeah, I don't care. So I won't. I
Yeah.
don't. But
Yeah, I drove
whatever.
a tour bus from Atlanta, Georgia, clear to Pittsburgh, nonstop. I had to go to the bathroom, pulled off the side of the road, opened the door on the bus, and that's where I went, and back into the seat.
Yeah, man,
Away we
yeah.
went.
That's it.
All right, guys. Let's go check out 50 years of hip hop in
Let's
about
go.
3 hours.
Yeah.